Directed by Brad Anderson, Vanishing on 7th Street is a psychological and supernatural horror film that delves into humanity's primal fear of the dark. Set in a desolate Detroit, where the majority of the population has inexplicably vanished, the story follows a small group of survivors who discover that darkness itself is their greatest threat. Combining eerie visuals, unnerving sound design, and existential themes, the film provides a chilling and thought-provoking experience. The film excels in creating an atmosphere of dread and unease. The whispers and ghostly voices emanating from the shadows heighten the tension, making the darkness feel alive and malicious. The concept of light as a fleeting lifeline is executed with precision, as flickering flashlights and fading bulbs become symbols of hope and terror. The empty streets of Detroit, devoid of life but filled with ominous shadows, create a hauntingly effective backdrop for the story. The film's strength lies in its ability to keep the audience constantly on edge. Every encroaching shadow feels like a harbinger of doom, and the unsettling sound design amplifies the fear of the unknown. The lack of an explicit explanation for the phenomenon only adds to the creepiness, leaving viewers grappling with the mystery of what's happening. Vanishing on 7th Street thrives on psychological horror rather than jump scares. The shadows themselves, shifting and creeping ever closer, become the primary antagonists, playing on a universal fear. The film builds tension masterfully, using the absence of light as a metaphor for the fragility of existence. The horror is both existential and immediate, as the characters struggle to keep the darkness at bay with dwindling sources of light. The film's sparse approach to its horror elements works in its favor, creating an oppressive sense of isolation and inevitability. However, for audiences expecting more visceral scares or traditional horror tropes, the movie's slower pace and minimalist approach might feel underwhelming. The ensemble cast, led by Hayden Christensen, Thandie Newton, and John Leguizamo, delivers solid performances that bring the characters' desperation and fear to life. Christensen portrays Luke as a pragmatic man trying to rationalize the unexplainable, with a brooding intensity. Newton's portrayal of Rosemary, a mother desperate to find her missing child, adds emotional depth and vulnerability to the story. Leguizamo shines as Paul, a projectionist whose fragile mental state reflects the psychological toll of the situation. The cast's chemistry enhances the film's tension, as each character brings their fears and motivations to the table. The performances ground the supernatural premise in human emotion, making the characters relatable despite the surreal circumstances. Vanishing on 7th Street is a polarizing film that thrives on its atmospheric tension and psychological depth. For viewers who appreciate subtle, thought-provoking horror, it offers a unique and chilling experience. The film's refusal to provide clear answers or resolutions might frustrate those looking for a more traditional narrative, but it's this ambiguity that gives the story its staying power. The movie's central theme, that light represents hope, life, and humanity's fragile grasp on existence, resonates deeply, especially in its haunting final act. However, the slow pacing and minimalist scares may not appeal to all audiences, particularly those accustomed to more action-driven horror films. Vanishing on 7th Street is a haunting and introspective horror film that taps into primal fears while exploring existential themes. With its eerie sound design, unsettling visuals, and strong performances, it's a thought-provoking addition to the supernatural horror genre. Though not without its flaws, the film leaves a lasting impression, compelling viewers to reflect on the darkness, both literal and metaphorical, that surrounds us.